Oh, it's a new person. What's up, Lucky? What's going on, Tinkerbell? It's good to see you this morning. Appreciate you guys pulling up. All right, let me make sure I'm caught up here. Start bringing some folks. What's up, LS? It's good to see you, man. Good to see you in the chat. What's up, Louis B. Fishing? Appreciate you. Let me pull my brother Jason up here. We're waiting on a few others. What's going on with you, brother?
Grace and peace, man. How about I need to grab my microphone? What's up, man? How are you?
Hey, you normally on point, so you know.
I know I'm over asleep at the switch. I'm like, wait, where's the microphone?
I was like that
That's
yesterday,
crazy,
man.
bro.
I was playing pickleball yesterday. I was lunching. There was a couple of times I was lunching. It's like, come on now, bro. Get it together. Get it together.
Get your game together.
We finished the league yesterday, came in second place. I lost 2 games yesterday after I was just talking to Crystal, talking about how I was number one, and I was. And I lost 2 games yesterday. I needed to win one. We lost 11-10, and I needed to win that. That would have won me the league, but you know.
So you're in the over 60 league, right?
Hey.
No.
I
didn't mean it. Did I call you out? I didn't call you out.
No.
Did I didn't let people
over
know.
60? Sheesh. Come on now.
Aren't you going to be sick?
I wish.
Okay, maybe my bad.
I
my
wish.
bad.
60 is good. 60, hey. Hopefully, if the Lord is good to me, I'll get to see 60 and beyond.
Absolutely.
You know,
Absolutely.
Lord willing. You know, but I'll be 46 next week Sunday. Next week Sunday I'll be 46. So
Gotcha. I got you.
I'm still a youngin'.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm still a youngin'.
Yeah, we are.
What's up, Marcelo? What's up with you, brother?
Hey, Bo, how are you?
Doing good, man. It's good to see you, man. It's been a little bit since we had you on the stream, man.
It has been. It's been a little while.
You've been on the milk carton.
Yeah, work comes first, unfortunately.
What's going on, Crystal? How you doing today?
Good morning, family. Good morning. Happy Friday. I'm in the same boat as Jason. I'm trying to get my bearings together this morning.
What's wrong with me today? What's wrong with me?
I'm with you because I'm like, hold on. Let me wake up again. So I'm alert. I promise.
Yeah, this week is honestly, it's been a struggle for me this week. You know, every now and again, you know, when you get into this, for those of you guys that do this on a day-to-day basis, it just happens. Every now and again, you're just going to have, you know, a week where you're just like, I don't know.
Yeah.
We're slow today.
You are not lying about that at all.
You know, I can't pinpoint it, put my finger on it. I just don't know.
I'm sorry that you lost, Wise. I mean, I was cheering you on from a distance because I was hoping, you know, we had a whole talk about this yesterday. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, it was, Well, we ended up playing, let me see. We played 4 games.
Wow.
No, 6 games. Played 6 games. I went 4-2 yesterday. I needed to go 5-1 to win the league, but I still came in second place. But I was I was 1 going into yesterday.
Well, that's good as far as you were. You know, you came in second place. It wasn't like you came in like no place.
That's
it wasn't
true. Loser.
True.
Don't let her fool you.
Hey, I'm like Ricky Bobby, man. If you're not first, you last.
That's
you
right.
heard me.
First,
But hold on, but it wasn't the 70-something-year-old women like you were telling me about like yesterday. Okay. I had to check.
No, that wasn't the case.
But Wise, this is your first year playing, right? You just picked it up.
Yeah, I just picked it up. And I can't even say it's a year. I've been playing now since August. So a couple of months,
man. Yeah,
you know.
That's really good.
I'm not playing terrible.
No.
You know.
Are you playing against guys your own age?
For a 70-year-old?
Yeah, or younger. You know, yesterday, most of the people I played with yesterday were younger. One of my teammates, though, in the 2 games I'll take that back. The game that we lost, the game that I needed to win, I was playing with the lady and she was a little older. You know, she was a lot more seasoned. And, you know, when you're in that situation, for those of you guys that know, you almost kind of feel like you're trying to overcompensate for the other person. And with that, it was throwing my own game off, trying to overcompensate for the fact that I have somebody on my team that isn't really where they need to be at this point. And she's just an older woman. Because they kind of round robin. You don't get to choose your team. You kind of play with multitude of people. And yeah, it was interesting. Okay. But we lost 10-1 or 10-11. We lost by 1 point. You played to 11. We lost 10-11.
You did good. By 1 point, you did good. For somebody that you just picked this up, you just picked it up.
Second week of August, I started getting into it. And yeah, I mean, dude, man. But I'm also one of those kind of people that when I get into something, I really get into it. You know what I'm saying? Like I have my own pickleball wall right here at my house, right across the way over here. I got my own Top Spin Pro. I got like 4 paddles. When I get into something, I get into something.
So you mean I should just come to you for the recommendation of what kind of pickleball racket I need to get it all at?
Seriously. Right now,
is he just goes from one expensive hobby to the next.
Exactly.
That's what
he went from golf, now it's pickleball.
Well, hey, I will say this: pickleball is a whole heck of a lot cheaper than golf. It's a lot cheaper than golf.
Have we ever nailed down the times and the places on where we're going for this golf trip?
Well, place, yes. Time we're still working.
Obviously, I'm out of the loop because I don't know any of it.
Yeah, well, we'll get you in the loop. We'll get you in the loop.
Y'all need
we're waiting on Dave to hear back from Dave, but once we hear back from Dave, we'll have more of an idea. But
like I said, you need a big burly lefty on your team. It just makes the whole day better.
Hey.
So now everybody's shanking it to the right. You get a little left shank too.
Oh, yeah, like my guy. That dude, he hits the ball. He hits it really far. Doesn't necessarily know where the ball is going. And then he'll turn around and look at it. Did you see that? It's like, nah. Just take another one. Or take a drop, 150, 200 yards out. Just take a drop.
With all this technology, why don't they just put like a little air tab inside the ball so that way I can just track it with my phone?
I'm surprised they don't want to do that because they want you buying balls. Come on, now.
It would throw off the balance of the ball, though.
It probably would too. I'm sure they could probably figure out.
Of the mold.
Yeah,
when you look at how they make it, that's the last thing they're going to be thinking about. Is putting an air tag in the or some kind of
air tag our own stuff.
Well, the other thing too is that they don't want you finding your ball. They want you They want you losing them. They want you hitting them into the woods, the trees, and sometimes this time of the year, if you're not this time of the year because the grass is a little thinner, but springtime going into summertime when the grass is a little thicker, especially the rough, you'll lose the ball even on a good drive. You'll hit that thing right down the pipe and you can lose the ball because the grass is too thick if you just kind of, go if it goes into the rough.
And at $5 a piece, they like.
Exactly.
Wow, is that how much they are?
Yes.
Oh man, a golf ball?
They're about $5 a ball, a little more than $5.
Yeah, it might be a little less than that. I personally don't buy used balls. New balls. I buy used balls. So I'm maybe $2, $2 and some change a ball. But yeah, they want you losing balls. That's an industry in itself.
Yes. You don't put the ball industry out of this in business.
I know. You put a GPS tag on it. They're like, oh, no one's buying balls anymore.
Well, somebody said that there's such thing as a tracker. There's one that has a tracker, and I don't understand it. I'm not a golf person, so I'm not even involved in this.
Okay, that's interesting. Interesting.
I've never heard of such thing.
That's what they said. I don't know. Somebody in the comments said it. I'm gonna look it up real quick. I don't know how I got invested in this now. I just went from
there's a flight path
I'm looking it up
where you can kind of track the flight path. But
Jay, you will be invested because you are. I have now officially dubbed you the investigator. The way your name is running all over X right now, you are the professional investigator. Okay.
I don't know. I don't think.
Oh, you.
I don't think people ask really robust questions. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna stop on that. Let's talk about that for a second.
I'm just giving you the side eye because you legit are now a professional. Listen, the way Jay Witt is running all over X right now, it is literally almost viral. I'm just telling you.
Wow. Thank you. It's just some logical questions that I think people just want to ignore. Mm-hmm. They just don't want to there's just some questions. I'm like, why are you not asking this question? And now let me give credit. A subscriber, I think his name was Small Fry, sent me a comment on my live chat. And I set my live chats up early, several hours early, and he commented in it. And I'm like, that comment looked like it was a troll. I'm like, he's trolling me. Mm-hmm. And so I looked at it, he said, hey, Candace is reading off her own lawyer's address. The address is whatever. I said, man, this person's trying to troll me. So I deleted the comment. And then I said, well, let me check. So I just did a little quick Google search. Ask ChatGPT. is this address the same as this address? I said, no. I said, good. I'm glad I deleted that because that person was trolling me, man. They wanted to put that bad comment out there. Then something said, why don't you ask ChatGPT if Candace Owens is in any way related to this address? I said, such an interesting question. So I asked ChatGPT and it said, oh yeah, by the way, this is her lawyer's office. What?
Why? Did you see that the Jay is going viral? Like people, they keep all I'm seeing. Like last night, I'm going to bed. I'm like, I got to get to sleep because I got to get up and do this show in the morning. And next thing you know, I just happen to go on X and all I see is Jay Witt. Jay Witt found Jay Witt. I was like, hold on, the Jay Witt. I know.
They got Jay Witt number, man. I'm like, yo. And now she had already. And the thing is, she had already abominated the building, the address, because she said the FBI and the DEA and the Secret Service all work out of this building. I said, well, ma'am, your attorney works out of this building and is in the Macron case. And she just happened to ignore that. She didn't happen to mention that at all. So if we're supposed to look with a side eye to all these other people, man, we have to look side eye at you. Your attorney works in the building. Now everybody like, oh, it's just an office. The FBI isn't there. They don't use it anymore. I'm saying, well, she read from the email, which, by the way, I think Steven Crowder wrote that email. I think he did. But shout out to Steven Crowder. And if he didn't, I apologize. But if we're supposed to look side eye at everybody else, man, we got to look side eye at you. Your attorney works in the building. And you didn't mention that. Even when she wrote a refutation, she wrote a refutation to me. Not to me, I'm sorry. She called me out or called out the whole deal. And I'm like, you still didn't mention, by the way, your attorney, not just any attorney, not just, Ken Nugent or, 1-800, I got hit by a truck. No, your attorney works in the building. The attorney that you're working with on the Macron case is in that building. Ma'am, how do we know that you're not a Fed? Candace? At this point, Candace is a Fed.
That part.
Oh my goodness.
That part.
I didn't know you were going viral like that on X. I didn't know that.
I don't know either. I don't even know what I'm doing on X. I do not know what I'm doing.
I just kept seeing Jay Witt's face. Like people have
I did see that. That was crazy.
They
I
put
said,
him
wow.
on the screen as a green screen, and they're just reacting to him and shouting him out. And I was just like,
wow.
Is this real?
Oh, hey. Picking up steam, man.
I guess. Let's
get the show started.
Keep up with you.
Let's get the show started. Hit the like button for me if you haven't done so in the chat. Let us know what number you are in the chat when you do hit the like button. That helps us over here, helps boost the channel. Shout out to everybody watching on the different streams. I believe Jay Witt got a few of them. So does Crystal. Shout out to all of you guys over at the Crystal Beyond Labels and the Jay Witt podcast. Shout out to you guys. Hit the like button. Super chat, super thanks are greatly appreciated. If you do drop a super chat with a question or something along those lines, it will stop the show and we will get that question answered. Thank you all for pulling up today. And I want to start here. I don't know if you guys had a chance to see this, but this has pretty much gone viral. And I want to start the show with the situation out in Chicago. There was a young mother who was attacked by elementary school kids, which is weird. Everybody's asking where Minister D is. I'm not sure where he is. He was supposed to.
I think didn't he say he had to hand
maybe
out
he did
turkey and food and things like that.
Okay, maybe he did respond back. Okay, because I know AT, I seen his message early this morning. Okay, cool. So I guess it's just us. I know Celeste is on a flight. She's officially will be in the South in the next hour or so. Officially in the South.
Wait, she moving here to the South?
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Moving down south.
Really nice.
Moving on down south. So, yeah. Let's get things kicked off, man. I don't know if you guys had a chance to see this, but we'll go from here.
He is outraged after an attack on a mother and her 2 young children. You can see in this video here where it happened in the South Deering neighborhood. And we are blurring the video because the people involved are all minors. Learning this is not the first time that this specific group of kids attacked someone.
Exactly, Marie. The large group of parents were outside of the school calling for accountability. They say bullying has been a problem at the school, but now it's crossed the line into violence. The mother, who is also the victim, has been at the school all day talking to authorities.
Damn! Crack, damn!
Faces of the people involved because they're minors. Son were walking near 106 and Bensley in the South Deering neighborhood when the group of kids started chasing after the mother and her children, calling them names and taunting them. Both the mother and son were taken to a hospital. Word of the attack spread quickly on social media, causing outrage among many parents.
I couldn't sleep. I was traumatized. I could not sleep. I couldn't believe it.
Shanice Davis lives in the neighborhood and says she recognizes the attackers.
This is not the first time the kids have done this. You know, just talk around the streets that these kids have pretty much been raising themselves and they have not been held accountable. They have vandalized cars. They have harassed adults and children.
One day after the attack, demonstrators showed up at Orville Bright Elementary School after some posted on social media threatening to harm the children behind the attack. Several police officers showed up blocking the entrance of the school to protect kids inside. Chicago Police District Council member Joseph Williams was also talking with them.
We're going to make sure that this school leadership steps up and that they put a safety plan in place, that they put any plan they need to put in place to make sure that these babies feel secure. Bullying should have a zero tolerance behind it.
We reached out to Chicago Public Schools about this incident and allegations from parents that their children were bullied by the same group of kids. CPS says they're horrified by the attack and they're working closely with the mayor's office, CPD, CHA, and other city departments to provide additional support for the family. Reporting live in South Deering, Sade Gray, CBS News, Chicago.
So I asked my kids to come to the next side of the street with me, so they wouldn't get jumped. So we kept walking. They followed us all the way there, and then they still fought us. They fought my son. They hit my son first, all in his face. Then they dragged me in the grass and pulled my little baby hair.
Yeah, this is it's disturbing to watch.
Facts.
It's really disturbing to watch. But I want to start things off with this question, and I'll kick it off to you, Jay Witt. And I want to go here. What does this incident reveal about the spiritual condition of our communities? You know, when children are just acting this reckless, what does it mean?
I'm gonna get to your question, your exact question, because I'm doing a quick research. I'm trying to find the verse I want to use. But this incident that we see right here shows you that it doesn't take a village to raise children. It takes parents to raise children. Institutions do not raise kids. And we've been hornswoggled and bamboozled by this idea that, oh, it takes a village. The village is this nebulous, faceless, moralless, compassless group of people that is what we see right here that has brought this about. There needs to be families. It's really interesting that everybody's outside protesting the school, not protesting where the kids sleep at night. That's the problem. Why are y'all not at the families' houses raising Cain? Because these kids slept somewhere. Those kids, whether they raising themselves, they have a place to live. Why are you not there at their family's house? Why are you at the school? Now, of course, you want to protect other kids that are being bullied, but these feral kids, these alley cats, why are you not wherever the alley or wherever they are roaming? Why are you not there? See, that's the problem. We've abdicated, given over the right to parent our children to other entities, whether that be the school, the community, the streets. We've given the parenting over, and this is what you get. There needs to be parents involved. And that alderman saying we're here at the school because we want kids to be safe. Nobody mentioned parents. There's a mom, there's a dad, there's a grandma, granddad, aunties, whomever, that need to be called on the carpet about these kids. They shouldn't even been able to come back until further notice. We can go on down to central office and meet with your parents and have a conversation, maybe meet with the police. But you don't need to be at the schoolhouse. The schoolhouse is for kids that need to learn. Y'all out here, this feral cats, y'all got to go somewhere else. But Nobody's holding the parents accountable because, again, they are elementary school kids. You ain't gonna put them in jail. You're not gonna do much. So just stop it. That being the case, however, parents should and could be held accountable for this, and nothing else but to be that safeguard. Like maybe the parents don't have a clue what they're doing. Maybe the parents need help, and you can help them because they've done such a piss poor job. But really, I don't. I stopped actually looking for my Bible verse. I'll come back to that in a second. But to answer your question that you didn't ask, this is what happens when you give over the right to parent your children to everybody else, to the village. It doesn't take a village. It takes parents to raise children.
Marcelo, I'll give you the next word.
He hit the nail on the head. I mean, there's really not much else to say. It's until I don't know. I don't know how to, because I mean, we look at these things over and over and over again. They keep happening, and there's nobody changing it. Can't throw money at it. There's not enough money in the world to change people inside. How many generations was it been since the 60s when really they started destroying the nuclear families, especially in the Black communities? So we're looking at 60 years, roughly 65 years. How do you incentivize nuclear families? I know all of you watch enough YouTube and watch enough news to understand that the country as a whole is actually going in the opposite direction. Mm-hmm. Men aren't getting married. Men don't want to get married. And women only want to marry millionaires, if you listen to what they're saying. But I know, especially in the male community, marriage has become more of a liability because the state is on the side of the woman. And family court is actually just the wild, wild west. And you want to talk about something that needs reform, the family court system needs to be a complete U-Haul. Until you make the incentive until a nuclear family is an incentive again, is what I'm trying to say, this is not going to get better. It's only going to get worse. Maybe that's the way you want it. I hate to think nefariously. I hate to think cynically, but if I was in control and I wanted to keep control, I would continue allowing things to happen exactly the way they're happening. I like the chaos. The chaos allows me to gain control and to take your rights away in the name of your safety, in the name of your comfort, so to say. As long as I can keep you comfortable and I can keep you pacifist, I can do whatever I want. I apologize for the phone. The children, unfortunately, are the victims of this because there is no guidance. There's no discipline. And children, whether they like it or whether they want to tell you or not, they excel with discipline. They excel with boundaries. Again, I am so sorry. I'll just unplug that thing.
No worries.
How do we? I'll tell you, Deshaun. I have taken off all of my social medias. I've taken everything out of my phone according to this stuff because I don't know how to solve it easily. And I don't know how to solve it unless there is a complete, not a fractional, a complete change in the mindset of this country for discipline, and stop allowing emotions to run decision making. There cannot be emotions involved in logical thinking. A plus B equals C. 1 plus 2 equals 3. 1 plus 2 doesn't equal 4 because you feel it fits better. And maybe that's rigid. Maybe people think that's too rigid, and it's not. It's not beneficial. Well, it's because it hurts. And I don't know. My opinion is we have to incentivize the nuclear family again. That has to be, until that happens, nothing's going to change.
Well, I would agree with that. When you look at the verse, train up a child in the way that he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. And that's out of Proverbs. But what happens when there's no one to train up the children?
Yeah.
This is what you get, right? This is what you get when there's no one to actually train up the children to give them some solid wisdom instructions, in how to go out here and be a productive citizen out here. I want to get Crystal in on the conversation. You can go wherever you want to go, but I would like you to answer that question that I had asked to Jason. What does this incident reveal about the spiritual condition of our communities?
The spiritual conditions of our community is a lot of people are walking around with a depraved, reprobate mind, and they're just passing it down to the children. Jay, I saw you put the scripture in the thing because that's the same scripture I was looking at, where women are leading and
Children are your oppressors.
Children are your oppressors, and women are leading. And this is when you have some place that looks like that. When you have a place that looks like that, you're looking at our people are leading to disaster. Our nation is leading to disaster when things like that is happening. And I look at these children and I agree about the training up the child, but I also love Proverbs 29:16, where it says, the rod and reproof give wisdom, but a child left to himself brings shame to his mother. And that's literally what you're seeing. These children are just out here doing whatever they want and they don't care. And the fact that the lack of respect for an adult, and that literally is that this is a lack of respect for adults. You are just doing what you want to do, and no one is putting you in your place. No one is getting you in order. Everyone is sitting here looking at you run like a chicken without a head. I watched a clip earlier of a older woman. And this was like not an interview, but it was an older woman that was out there doing her yard, and somebody was talking to her, and they had their cell phone up, and they said, yeah, did you hear about the lady? And the older woman, and this woman had to at least be 75, 80 years old. She said those kids do that all the time. They're always out here doing that, and they are the ones that are out here. What did she say? She said she's like they just harassed another lady a week before and another person a week after that. And she was like, before that. And she said, that's why whenever they come around, whenever school is happening, I leave. I actually go inside. I don't come outside at that time. The fact that this woman, an older woman, has to hide in her house from elementary school children speaks volumes. And that's to tell you how far how bad our country has got, how the spirit is so depraved that when I was a kid, you respected the elders. You want to run and help them carry the groceries. You're yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, yes, sir, no, sir. You would never dare to corner an adult and try to fight them and drag them down the street. And let me just take it a step further before I land this plane. I watched on X the different parents that were dealing with their children regarding this. And so when I looked at the children at the one mother, she had her son up there, and her son said, her son, she was like, everybody's looking for you right now, right? She's like, and I'm not even going to help you. She said, because what you did, that she's like, I can't help you because no one told you to be out here behaving in that manner. Another woman, she had her daughter on. Her daughter was crying and she was asking for forgiveness for the public. But there was another woman, and this is the key right here. This is to tell you about the home, who jumped on and said, what y'all wouldn't have done nothing. I don't care if my niece, my daughter was out there. If apparently one of the kids belonged to her, and she was like, "It don't matter. She was on the wrong side of the street. She shouldn't have been out in that street." And I'm like, "Is uh, what? So you're defending the bad behavior of your child?" And this is what I'm saying. When you have babies raising babies, and these babies ain't got no kind of common sense, and they out here pushing out that foolishness, that's why children behave like that. So I agree. People should have been protesting them people's houses. And I'm so tired of the public always attacking the school, the public always attacking celebrities, artists, all of these things. And they never stop and say, what happened to the parents? The parents ain't doing their job. It should go back to the parents. The parents should face some kind of repercussion for them not doing their job, raising their child right. Period, point blank.
Renee, I want to get you in on the conversation. Is there anything that the body of Christ can do to step in and help fill the gaps here that is lacking in these communities? It's pretty obvious that there's no fathers, in these households when it comes to these children. At least all the clips that I saw of the reaction of the parents, I didn't see one dad, not one dad, say anything, about this or, jump out there to corral or correct their child. I didn't see a dad, not a dad in sight. But what are your thoughts, Renee? And thank you for pulling up this morning.
Oh, thank you for inviting me. I think there are quite a few things the body of the body of Christ can do. The first thing we do is pray and ask God for direction. How do we deal with this issue? The second thing we do is offer mentorship. Each one teach one. I think what we lack in society today are, number one, the younger people listening to older people, and the older people being willing to listen to the younger ones and get involved. So many people don't want to get involved. And I understand you have a lot of young adults and a lot of children that are disrespectful. And sometimes people don't want to, they don't want to put themselves in a situation where it might be confrontational. But I believe that the church needs to offer more outreach programs. They need to get involved in the community more. And I believe that that's what's really lacking in the body of Christ now. More outreach, just getting out there at night, getting out there. What happened to the street ministry? You know what I mean? Just talking to families, being allowed to go to schools. I know that this destruction of the family has been going on it's been a planned, concerted effort by Satan to destroy families for some time. You have globalists that even going back to the 20s, Aleister Crowley and these different people that have put in an agenda to break up the family. You have these social services programs where they've kicked the dad out of the homes and they've made the government the dads. And then you have them going to school and getting indoctrinated at the same time. So it's a concerted effort. So we as Christians need to be aware of what's going on. We need to pray. We need to intercede. And we need to ask God for wisdom and direction and, to show us how to navigate through this season. The Holy Spirit is the best instructor. He teaches us all things. So just involving him in the conversation, being prayerful, and not being afraid to reach out to the community, to reach out to these children. A lot of them are hurting. I'm a retired correction officer. And I noticed that a lot of the males that came into the institution, they didn't have father figures and they weren't told one simple word, no. sometimes no is the best response to doing things. And discipline. I agree. If you spare the rod, you spoil the child, and we're not going to reach everyone out there. Just like Jesus said, he desired that all be saved, but not all people will be saved. So you don't try to reach all people, but you do one at a time, two at a time, 5, 10 at a time. Start with your community, start with your neighborhood, start with your school. Maybe get involved with the board of education, your local boards. Get on your local boards. That's just my input.
Thank you, Renee. And Jaywood, I want to give you the last word on this, but I want to ask this question. And actually, I guess maybe, there might be some others that may have an answer or a solution here. When you see these types of incidents, which for whatever reason, man, it seems like we're seeing these types of incidents become increasingly familiar, not just in the city of Chicago, but we're seeing these types of things pop up all across the country. When you see this and you see the young kids, and the thing is, it seems like the ages are getting younger. When I was growing up, it was people, high school age,
Right.
acting a fool. Now, and then it got to the middle school. And now it's trickled all the way down to elementary school. So when you have violent incidents involving very young children at this point, what should accountability look like? What's appropriate, what's fair, and in your opinion, what's actually effective?
There's a lot of different ways to skin this cat, or a lot of different parts that play a part in it. If we just look at the school itself, the school system itself, it does need to be an overhaul. In a situation like this, there needs to be a real come to Jesus where we look at this and say, hey, we got children who want to do better. We have children who are not so much. We need to figure out what to do. Because really, when the smoke clears, you're not talking about a lot of kids. You're talking about a small minority of children,
right? Yeah,
that are behaving like this. In a school of 1,000, you might be talking about 30 kids. So, but the problem is, in my opinion, there's not a real plan to deal with this. And there are some hand-tied situations because of the minority breakdown or the social economic breakdown of the school and the community. You can't do but so much. So if you take away these privileges, if you take away these experiences, then you're going to limit them in other ways, and you'll have another dumpster fire. So it is a catch-22, and there's a lot of things, but I think an honest conversation about what needs to happen or what is actually happening. Like, we have these feral children that are raising themselves. That's crazy. And sadly, school is in lack of a better term, is a daycare, a free daycare for a lot of these parents. And they can send their child, morning care, school, and then they stay there to aftercare, 6 o'clock sometimes in the evening. Parents are good to go, and they got a lot done without that. So there needs to be a robust understanding of what is the problem, an honest conversation. What is the problem, and what do we do moving forward from here? And how can we solve this problem from the school standpoint, from the community, from the church, from the general people of the community? What do we do? But I don't think if we lie and keep saying that everything's all hunky-dory, sunshine and rainbows, I do think that we're going to put ourselves they've already put themselves in a trick bag, and they're not going to be able to see solutions.
I would agree with that. And I think we can identify, and I think Renee has, and so has Marcelo, identified the problem. The problem is lack of nuclear family structure. I think that is the major problem in a multitude of these communities across the country. It seems like where you have a high population of broken homes, you have a high amount of this type of behavior in those communities. So I think we understand what the actual problem is. I think we all understand that. Renee just mentioned, a large majority of the people, and that's something that we've been talking about on this channel for quite some time, that find themselves, in a correctional system, come from these types of homes, broken homes in situations where, there's no dad around, or, maybe they grew up in, some type of, foster care, or grew up with grandma, no parents, no actual biological parents around. So I think we have an understanding. The question is there a solve? Are we willing to do what's necessary to solve? And as to what Marcelo said, is there some kind of way that we can incentivize people to actually do things the right way. Operating in God's divine order, as far as, finding a good woman or a good man to marry, rearing your children up in that environment, and fostering good people that will come out and become productive citizens in society. Is there a way to incentivize that?
I would say, I'm going to go with Renee. This is a church matter. If we want to look at restoring marriage make marriages great again, it's going to have to be in the church. And it's going to have to become a discipleship push that we are going to help men and women understand their proper roles and responsibilities, match up, get married, and stay married. That's just going to be what we do. That's within the purview of the church. That's within, you're not going above and beyond. You're not doing more than you need to be doing. That's part of the job of the church. So I do think that would probably be the best way for the Christian church to make marriage great again and allow people to see it in a way that, again, that's why I always tell my daughters, like, look, you see me and your mom working it out right here in this house, and you know how to work things out. And that's what my daughter sat and talked to my wife for an hour and a half yesterday about something that they did at school. And I was like, good, babe, I'm glad you talked to her about it. I get into bed. Lo and behold, who comes knocking at the door to talk for another 30 minutes to me about what she talked about? I don't know what she was talking about. I don't even know. But the fact that she wanted to, and my wife said, you know what, I'm just glad that you got both of us here to talk to about it. You ain't got to go to somewhere else. You ain't got to call somewhere else to talk to him. We right here. And so, you know what? I said, you know what? That's cool. I still don't know what she was talking about. But, whatever. She don't need to know that. But my point is, churches need to, and the body of Christ needs to make marriage great again. And we can do that even in our own little clusters, in our own relationships. But I think churches need to take it upon themselves and say, hey, we are really going to push against the narrative that broken homes and 80% of black children are raised in a single parent home. We're going to do our very best to push against that as a community, as the body of Christ. That would be what I would suggest.
I'd like to go back.
In
I'd like,
theory.
I'd like to go back to
Apologies.
what I read a book from David Green, the founder and CEO of Hobby Lobby. And I love the book, The Legacy Life. And as I was going through the book, he was talking about how the family used to be the center of everything, and then we made work and everything else the center, and the family was an afterthought. Back then, the family used to be interdependent. It was a team. The family was working together. The parents raised up the kids. They just like a business and everything. The family had a vision, they had a mission, they had code of conduct that they lived by. They had all of these things where nowadays people have their cell phone and their iPads and all of those different things. I think if we get back to, of course, my favorite scripture is always Second Chronicles 7:14, when about if my people who are called by name shall humble themselves. Like going to that scripture, I think America on a whole, the world on a whole, needs that. But I think getting back to the family being, instead of making the nuclear family an anomaly and it's something weird, you have your parents, like how, like that's weird to people. It should be normalized. And I think the I hate to say it, but I don't know how they did it in the LBJ time and all that stuff, but we need to roll that back so people don't feel incentivized for being a baby mama. Because I still remember that interview where the teacher was talking to the students, and they asked the students, what do you want to be when you grow up? And the little girl said, I want to be a baby mama. And the woman said, no, 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 no. I know you want to have kids because you want to grow up and get married and have kids. And this is, mind you, a middle school girl that she was talking to. She wasn't talking about a high school or a middle school girl. She said, no, I understand you want to grow up and have kids and get married and have kids, but no, what do you want to be when you grow up? She's like, I don't want to get married. I just want to be a baby mama. She's like, because baby mamas are taken care of. Baby mamas get all, and I was sitting here like, did she say that? But they have this idea that when you're a baby mama, life is like some kind of golden ticket and life is amazing as a baby mama. I don't know who told them that lie. I need them to have a come to Jesus moment, because that is not the truth. It is not a skipping the lilies. But we need to, whatever took place where it was like, if there's no fathers in the home, you get extra money. We need to reel that back somehow or the other. We got to reel that back. It has to
Well,
be.
it's happening, Crystal. When you look at what the administration is doing right now, putting time limits on how long people can be on Section 8, making people go back and reapply for SNAP benefits to make sure that the people that are on those benefits actually need those. The modification that's happening around Medicare, it is actually happening. There's about 7 states that have already implemented the 50-50 joint custody, no matter what, if you do get divorced or if you just have a kid with an individual. If the parents, both parents show up to court, it's automatic default 50-50 custody. So they are doing things to make it a little more difficult for, folks to just get out there and think that they can do it by themselves. The problem is you have a lot of people, especially those that, are staunch Democrats. And unfortunately, you have a lot of Black folks that feel like because this is happening, that the current administration is anti-Black, anti-woman or anti-Black woman, for saying, no, y'all got to get off these benefits and y'all gonna have to figure out another way to do this. Renee, I want to give you an opportunity to answer, but it is happening. It is happening.
Yeah, I agree with that, and I am so thankful that Trump is in office. But what I look at is just the hate and the lack of morality, the lack of truth and understanding what's really going on, the brainwashing. I have a different thing. You have some Democrats, but you also have some Democrats. The Democrats are the ones that actually know better, but they're wicked. Those are the ones that are the deep state, that are in office, that are taking money at the back end for a lot of these social programs. They're the lobbyists, the people that are getting paid to do all of the debauchery. But I was on Facebook a little bit earlier, and I just, I don't know why I get on there. I kind of beat myself up sometimes, just trying to teach the truth and open up people's eyes, because it really bothers me that people are as deceived as they are, just thinking, again, orange man bad, he's racist, he does this, he does that. I grew up in an era with Trump. Trump used to come to some of the parties that we went to. I was part of that whole Puff Daddy crew. I grew up with Puff Daddy. We went to school together. So we all kind of partied together. Don't look at me like that. I didn't, just like you see. But you know what I mean? You see people in pictures with other people. And it was just a time where, you got together and you took pictures. It didn't mean that you were a part of all of the other things that they were part of. And, you see these memes where, I would rather not have a pedo in the White House, but have health care, for Black Americans. You don't understand, and people don't understand that Obamacare was a money bag for the insurance companies. What Trump is trying to do is put insurance back in the hands of the people and offer insurance companies a chance to advertise and market. And it's about free what do you call it, free enterprise for the health insurance companies. Market your products, and whoever sells the best, they're the ones that get the money, and they get the money from the people. The legislators don't get the money, but they're looking at it from a black and white thing. And that's a social construct. That's something that was brought in by the globalists to try to divide people. And if you look back at the history, you just do your research, you learn that it wasn't only Black people that were enslaved as well. The first people that were enslaved that came to this country were the Irish. They were the Irish, then they were the, I believe it was the Indian or the Chinese, then it was the Black people. you know, and they first came over here as indentured servants. But you have a lot of these Democrats that will push this narrative. Oh, you've been enslaved for 200 years. You know, white people have always done this to you and they've done that to you. And unfortunately, we've had a lot of church people, ministers as well, that have joined that Democratic bandwagon. And then they've thrown in that whole LGBTQ. They kind of slid it in on a side and put it together. These are all disenfranchised people. And you have a lot of our people, a lot of Black people that look at that and say, okay, this is a rich white man. He's not coming to do anything else but to take money from us, to enslave us again. And you have these people, these media personnel who are paid by these and owned by these globalists, spreading this kind of nonsense. And instead of people doing their research, they just accept it as fact. And this is where you have the problem. And so when you try to introduce truth and you try to tell them, hey, why don't you do your own research? Don't just take my word for it, but do the research on your own. People, oh, no. You've just sided with the white man. You've just gone off the ledge and, you know, blah, 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 blah. And, you know, they're deceived. So you have a mass deception that's going on. You know?
Marcelo, I'll give you the last word on this, and then I want to move on. If you have anything to add.
At the end of the day, nobody shoots Santa Claus. As long as people keep getting free stuff, people won't keep voting for free stuff.
Facts.
Fortunately, gluttony is a sin.
Yeah.
That's the way it is, and they're going to play on it. NGOs take our money and turn around and give it to the politicians. And both sides. That's why you have literally the Mike Johnson refuses to kick people out of Congress or even bring it up when you have congressmen, delegates, not even from a state, from a prince, from Puerto Rico, direct ties with Epstein, with pedophiles. He's supposed to be a Christian man. You've got churches out here now that are protected, so they're pacifists. They're just talking the nice, good gospel and all this because they're protected by men that do dirty work. Unfortunately, you know what I want? I hate to say it. This country needs to suffer. Suffering is the only way you're going to get better. Let it happen. Let the chaos happen. Let it happen so much that people get sick of it, and eventually they'll start actually doing something about it. As long as you're comfortable in your house, you have your electricity, you have your YouTube, you have your food in your belly, you have your $1,700 cell phones and your $300 shoes and your new cars. You're just going to keep eating it up, and they're going to keep taking your money. And unfortunately, we're going to sit on here and we're going to complain about it. We're going to do nothing about it. We're not going to run for our local Board of Education. We're not going to run for our local boards to actually change anything. We're just going to complain about it and hope that it doesn't come in our backyard. NIMBY, not in my backyard.
Yeah, to a city near you. Let's keep it moving. Hit the like button for me. A couple super chats I want to read, and then we'll keep things going. Shout out to C. Cook coming through with the $5 super chat. Says, the kid I collected, I'm guessing she's saying as a kid, I collected all stray balls and sell them back to golfers who couldn't stay on the course.
Stay the course.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, C. Cook. Shout out to LJ coming through with the $2 super chat. Says, this is the result of GBs and morons having kids. What's a GB? Y'all know? What's that? It's a GB. LJ, you got to clarify. Shout out to
Gutter bunnies.
Oh, gutter bunnies. Oh, okay. I was like, GBs. Yeah, clarify for me. Thank you for joining the ARP family. Thank you very much. Shout out to Philip as well for joining the ARP family. Thank you very much. I appreciate you. Shout out to the brother Rolando coming through with the $10 super chat. Crystal, you don't have to look like that every time you see Rolando's face. Come on now.
I read the comment ahead of time, so I know exactly what he's about.
You don't have to look like that. Jeez, tell us how you really feel. Your whole facial expression, everything changed. Goodness gracious. Thank you for Rolando coming through with the $10 super chat. Says, this job is a nightmare. It's my own little devil's island. Y'all need to pray for me. I'm in tears, but I'm going to use these $100 bills to wipe tears from my eyes. Okay, wipe tears from my eyes. Goodness gracious. Okay, Rolando.
So now you know why my face look like that? Okay.
Yeah, at least he came through with the $10 super chat. You know, at least he came through. He told us he getting that money now. Rolando, I expect you to be lighting up the daggone super chats now. Shout out to 2020 Vision coming through with the $2 super chat. Says we need to push, make Black America great again. Thank you, 2020 Vision. Steve Hadeen coming through, or Steve H coming through with the $2 super chat. Says we need revival. Get the sin out of our lives and pray. Yeah. Yeah. Goodness gracious. Rolando's a trip. Goodness gracious. Let's keep it moving. Let's keep it moving. Let me see here. Yeah, so there's a political scandal that just dropped out of Florida. Democratic Representative Sheila McCormick has been indicted for allegedly stealing $5 million in FEMA funds. Money that was meant for disaster victims, allegedly rerouted for personal gain, though. And this isn't happening in a vacuum. I mean, we've seen a string of officials, Fannie Willis out in Atlanta, Letitia, Big Tish James out in New York.
Big Tish.
You know.
Oh, wow.
The mayor out in New Orleans, Miss Keisha, you know, all facing scandals or serious questions about misconduct. Different cities, same pattern. Leaders who ran on justice and accountability, and if you just put us in position, we would get it done for you. Suddenly, all of these folks are drowning in controversy. You know, and I don't think this is about race. I think it's about political cultures with no oversight, communities that keep electing reformers who end up governing like the insiders in a system that keeps rewarding the wrong people. They told us that if you put these people in office, they would be better. And that's not necessarily the case. Let's get into it.
At 10, I'm Louis Aguirre.
And I'm Janice Fernandez. We want to get right to your top story tonight. Breaking news. A South Florida congresswoman indicted, accused of stealing millions of dollars in federal disaster funds and using the money to support her congressional campaign. Congresswoman Sheila McCormick now facing federal charges.
She'd already been under investigation by the House Ethics Committee this summer. We have team coverage of the indictment tonight. Local 10's D.C. Bureau Chief Ben Kennedy standing by with reaction from Washington. But we begin with Local 10's Aaron Mabin in Miramar with the charges. Aaron.
Janice and Louis, within the last hour, attorneys for the Congresswoman said they plan to fight to clear her name.
Everybody feels like they're under attack.
Tonight, a federal grand jury indicting Congresswoman Sheila McCormick and several associates, accusing them of stealing millions in federal disaster funds, laundering the money, and using part of it to support her 2021 congressional campaign.
The money we invested was to make sure that we can touch the people in the community, but the money didn't determine this election because most people who put a lot of money in the community, in their campaigns, they don't win.
Federal prosecutors say McCormick and her brother Edwin ran a FEMA-funded COVID-19 vaccination staffing contract through their family health care company. Prosecutors say in July 2021, the company received a $5 million overpayment. Prosecutors say the group diverted that money and tried to hide it through multiple accounts. The indictment says a large portion of those funds was used for campaign contributions and personal expenses. Prosecutors allege the South Florida Democrat and Nadege LeBlanc arranged additional donations using straw donors, funneling money to friends and relatives who then donated to the campaign as if using their own money. Investigators say the Congresswoman, with the help of her tax preparer, David K. Spencer, filed a false federal tax return, allegedly disguising political spending and personal costs as business deductions. U.S. Attorney Jason Redding Quinones writing public money belongs to the American people. When FEMA funds are diverted for personal or political gain, it erodes trust and harms us all. Attorneys for the Congresswoman writing, she is a committed public servant who is dedicated to her constituents. We will fight to clear her good name.
Goodness gracious, man. 5 milli. Yeesh. I got a question. And whoever wants to take this on, go with it. And you can go really where you want to go with this. I don't want to spend too much time on this, but I did want to discuss it. When you see multiple elected officials across different cities and positions facing indictments and ethics scandals, what does this say about the culture of accountability in American politics at this point? It seems like these people go in with no money in some kind of way. They all come out wealthy as all get out.
Yeah.
You want me to tell you the system? This is the system. Politicians create problems only they can solve. They create the problem, the pain starts happening in the community. Community outcries, there's rage. We need this to stop. Government entity says, I can fix that. I just need some money. So I'm going to take it from your tax dollars. I'm going to take your tax dollars, and then I'm going to give it to the NGOs, and I'm going to set up all the leaders of the NGOs so that when the money comes in, 60, 50, 60% actually goes to the problem. We're never going to solve the problem, but I'm going to take the other 50 and 60% and I'm going to give it back to the politicians that put me in the job as the lead NCO of the lead as the NGO. It's a big vicious cycle, a big negative feedback loop. And unfortunately, like Elon Musk, he had his finger right on this and they kicked him out of Washington because that's the game, Jack. That's the game. And if you want to get on these important committees in Congress, you have to be able to raise a lot of money, like the intelligence community. The intelligence committee in the delegates and the representatives, most prestigious committee you can get on. You have to be able to raise at least $10 million in order to even be accepted as a possible person to get on that committee. It's all about money. You got to understand 95% of a Congress's day is figuring out how to raise money. It's all about money. And so what they do is they take the NGOs, so they create problems only they can solve, take the money from the taxpayers to solve the problem, never really solve the problem, but the NGOs get all the money to continue to grow and the kickbacks keep going back to the politicians. This is why these things don't change. This is why we can always take this right back to the school. The school's not going to change because the money keeps flowing. And until we stop the money flow, these things will not get better.
You're absolutely right there. I want to play this clip here, and then Jason, I want you to get in there. It's crazy that you say that there's no money in there's no money in cures. There's no money in the solve. And right. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. That's why the schools, think about Baltimore City. It's, as those of us that live in Maryland, it's one of the most well-funded school districts in the country.
Wow.
There's no interest in solving the issues that we have at these schools. No. Some of them, they don't have heat. They don't have HVAC units. They've paid for them multiple times. They just don't have them. Kids can't read on grade level, not doing math on grade level.
0% reading proficiency.
Yeah, it's crazy.
0%.
It's crazy. So you got certain schools, high schools, where the valedictorian barely had a 2.0 in some of these places, but they had the highest paid superintendent in the country at like $400,000, almost $500,000 a year. I mean, it's just crazy. There's no interest in cures, because it's all about the money. You're right. This clip right here.
You can't hear it, Wise.
It's very low. I don't know why.
Yeah, we can't hear it.
Yeah.
Then we're going to have to keep fighting for the district. And everybody has been giving me so much support. And we're going to keep fighting until the district gets what it needs, which is fair prices, housing, and fair representation of Congress.
Yeah, it's just a low clip. It's not a whole lot.
The audio is very low.
Yeah.
I didn't hear it. But I do think it's sadly, there's entirely too much money that's running around without any place to go in government. I don't know if there's a way to fix it because really at the end of the day, we're the problem. Humans are the problem. We're greedy. We want stuff that we didn't pay for. We want to take somebody else's stuff, all that kind of jazz like that. So really it's a heart matter because the fact that this woman, that she got an overpayment of $5 million, Like, how many other people got that overpayment? Like, the government is that inefficient that they accidentally sent somebody $5 million?
Yeah,
It's crazy work. Right.
Yeah,
That's what I'm
they
saying.
are.
So there's a lot of problems. I mean, I don't know where to even start with the solution because there's so many places that there's a problem. That you have that much money that you could accidentally send somebody $5 million is crazy work. Because again, we know that they sent it to other people too. They just ain't get caught, or maybe they got caught and it didn't hit the news cycle.
Or no, they did send it to other people, but they went back and audited those people that did receive the money. They decided that, hey, we're just going to stash it. They're going to come back and get it. This is the federal government. They're going to come get that money. They make mistakes, but they will come back and get the money. The issue with this lady is they gave her the money and then she knew she wasn't supposed to get it. And they started hiding the money in different like offshore accounts.
Yeah.
And, you know, and then they started kind of trying to trickle the money to their family members to pay back into. That's how the money got into her campaign coffers, because they took the money, moved it around a couple of different places, gave it to family members, and then the family members turned around and donated it to her campaign and then to some other places. And that's how this works. You know, that's exactly how this works. But she said that this indictment is a distraction from what's going on with the Epstein files. That's what she said.
Crazy work.
She
That's
said, "Hey,
crazy work.
these are baseless. This is a baseless indictment, and this is just a distraction." Renee, what are your thoughts?
Sorry.
Well, I'm sure she was probably told to say that. You know, you're going to have to divert the attention somewhere else. You know, always revert it back to Trump. I think that's the best thing to do with these people, with these Democrats. But I go back to the kingdom of God. I believe that it's not a coincidence that you have a lot of conservative voices that are in social media, that are broadcasting now, because he wants God's people. God wants his people in government. He wants them in every sphere of influence. All right. You need people that will be accountable and that have integrity, that won't be sold to the dollar. We know that that money has always been, it can be the root of all evil. Okay. Just the love of money, put it that way, not money itself, but just that mammon spirit. So you need people that that are going to have integrity when they go in, that won't be willing to sell their soul for $1. You need kingdom people. You need people that understand the mission, that understand God's heart, that understand what it means to serve and to serve in government. That's the only way to overhaul it. And you know, someone prophetic told Trump, because he has people around him, told him that you said that you were going to drain the swamp. God says that you need to indeed drain the swamp. So some of this is actually on Trump, not draining the swamp. You know,
he can't do it.
He can't drain that swamp.
He can't drain that.
He can't just go in and start blanket firing people. He's not allowed to do that.
Well, what about that shutdown? I was told that with the shutdown, after 41 days, you were able to reassign and move around a lot of those employees.
Yeah, but they got the 40. Well, they actually came to an agreement, right? If you notice, they came to agreement right at about the 40 day. And then the actual, they opened up at like day 43. So
it's a big game they play.
Yeah.
None of them, Republicans and Democrats, guys. This isn't just a one-sided issue. None of them want the money to stop flowing.
Facts.
I know.
And that's why I tell people all the time, stop putting your trust in these parties. You know, as someone that is a conservative, you know, in the way that I live and the mindset, but I just don't think that we should put our 100% absolute trust in, you know, either side, to be honest with you. I mean, we know exactly what time it is when it comes to the liberal agenda and the Democrat Party, you know, and I think that we should be doing everything that we can, you know, to call those people out. But at the same time, don't blindly, you know, just support the other side either, just blindly. I think that we should be holding all of these politicians accountable for their actions and how they're moving around, you know, out here. And, you know, on my channel for a long time, you know, I advocated for the current president. And I think, I think we all made the right decision there, especially based off of what happened in previous 4 years. But at the same time, Crystal and I, we've talked about this a multitude of times, and I think we've talked about it on this channel. I think we got to stop looking at man to come and save us.
I agree.
We got to stop looking at man. Man's going to let you down every single
Every
time. Time and time again. They've shown us that they're going to let us down. We gotta become more politically astute, and we have to be willing to speak up and hold people accountable
And
when
it
the
doesn't
time
take
comes.
a lot of us. That's the thing, is it doesn't take a lot of us. It's not like you have to have a majority of people to do that. A small group of people can make a huge difference.
Absolutely.
I
We've seen Gideon's army, right?
10, 15 people, all dedicated to one single thing, can make a radical difference. It's you don't have to think about this in huge numbers, like, oh, I have to have millions of people. No, it's just the very small group of people, very dedicated.
And you
Waves.
And you did mention something. You mentioned that you didn't feel that people would go into local office, into local government. And I think they probably won't do it because they think it's a complicated process. It's not. It's not.
It's
though.
definitely not. Based
No.
off of what we saw, think about this. You look at the Democratic Socialists of America, and I think we talked about them last week, maybe a week before last. You look at what they've been able to accomplish over the better part at this point now, probably, I don't know, maybe 10 or 15 years of them being in existence. They've probably been around a little longer. But where is that at? When you look at it, the Democratic Socialists of America, where is that at from the faith-based folks? Where is that at from the Christians? Where is the Christian PAC? Where is the Christian organization that's deciding to make a conscious decision to get involved in politics, put your money where your mouth is, put the candidates up, fund the candidates? That's a lot of the problem. Marcelo, you hit the nail on the head. A lot of us talk, but are you funding candidates that are going to push your agenda? Are you funding candidates that we know are Christians, not by their words, but by their actions? And are we putting those people in positions of power to represent those of us? You know what I'm saying? That are members of the body of Christ. I think that's where we're dropping the ball at. Everybody else is doing it. Everybody, every other faction. You see what's going on, in our country, in the Islamic faith. You see what they're doing. You see what's going on. You see what's happening. Everybody else has PACs, and they have these groups and these organizations that they put money in, and then they put the money behind the candidates that is going to push their agenda. We're lacking. We're not doing those things. And that's why everybody else's agenda is being pushed forward. And we're sitting around looking at like, man, what the heck is happening? What is going on? Why isn't somebody doing anything? Well, it takes you. You be the change.
But you know what I think, Wise? I think that when I talk about local government, I'm not even talking about the mayoral race. Like the boards, just applying for boards, wherever you can get in.
Board,
It's so
city council,
easy.
yes.
Right, and you don't need money to do it. The only thing that you need to do is call or Google your government office and find out what the steps are, what positions are open, and what the steps are to go on to local government. I got on the Social Services Commission in the city that I was in. So I know that it's something that you can do, and you don't need any political experience. So I think that if we started there, and if more people started there, whether you're, get some of these retirees out here that don't have anything else to do.
No, we don't need retirees. We need young people. And the thing is, Renee, when you see when you say no experience is needed, no experience is needed. Do you not see the mayor that just was elected out in Seattle? Did you not see? I mean, she was a coffee barista. That's running a major city in the country. No real experience needed.
Let me also add, South Fulton elected a mayor that's in college here in Atlanta. The dude
How
is
about
in
the
college.
city in New York?
He's in college, for crying out loud.
Yeah. So no, it's just about, are you willing to put yourself out there? And when you think about this, and maybe there are some folks that are watching this in the chat. Maybe there is a group. Somebody needs to create a group, and I'll say somebody. Maybe it should be me. Create an organization. When you think about, and we showed the video of the DSA in their blueprint. They started putting money behind candidates, and they started out with lower level positions, just like what you're talking about, Renee, where the elections are low voter turnout, and it doesn't take that much money to win. Doesn't take that much money to win, and you in places where it's low voter turnout, and they started there, and now they have worked their way up to mayoral
Mayor.
seats
Yeah.
in major cities, not small towns. We're talking New York City. We're talking Seattle. They got someone right now that they're funding that they're running for governor in Idaho. They have somebody that they're funding that is running for governor in Georgia right now. Yeah, these people, they kind of gave the blueprint. Now it's about who's going to pick up the torch and say, hey, let's create this organization. Let's start putting the money behind it. And then let's start funding candidates that actually have our belief system. That's going to push our agenda. And local elections matter a lot. And to be honest with you, I think the local elections matter more
than federal,
than the national elections, the federal elections.
Absolutely, because they're the ones that actually directly affect you.
So I'll go with, let me go back. I remember having a conversation with someone, and they said it's so interesting that sometimes people leave $700,000. They're making $700,000 a year, $1 million a year, $300,000, whatever, a year, and they would leave that to go run for office. And it's because they know the come up that comes along with running for office. So they're not running for office to serve the people. They're running for office to line their pockets. That's
Money,
usually
power, prestige.
Yeah.
That and because they know what's going to come for them being involved in that. So I honestly, this is why you see so many people running it, because I think that is their little pipeline. This is how I'm going to go from here to being part of the top 1%, 10%, whatever. This is how I'm going to do it, and that's their blueprint. Now, I agree with what Renee was saying, because I did hear someone prophetic say about draining the swamp, but it's going to be God. God is going to do it, and I'm saying that because you see it's already happening across the board, not just in politics, but in churches. He is revealing all of the stuff that people thought they were hiding. He is revealing all of their foolishness. You're seeing it in churches. You're seeing churches who are supposed to be preaching the word of God, lining their pockets and supporting some of these swampy politicians, and convincing their congregation not to go vote, or to go vote for those specific type of people that are trying to destroy America, trying to destroy everything. So the swamp will be drained. I do believe that. But I think that is going to be a divine movement, that the swamp will be drained. But I think you're seeing the things with what's happening with the politicians and things of that nature, because of what we all agree on. The Lord says it's time for us, his church, to get up. The 7 mounts of influence is a very real thing, and we are supposed to be very involved in all aspects. And we have the church. I was just listening to I was reading Hosea this morning, and the Lord was talking to the children of Israel through Hosea, saying that my priests, you have my children sinning excessively, idolizing, because you're the one that's convincing them that because you want more of the atonement sacrifices, you keep causing my children to sin. You're not telling them when things are wrong. When I say that, I'm saying that the church, they put people in place. I'm not even gonna lie. The government and them put people in that place, in them churches, a lot of these churches. So the narrative amongst churchgoers is, we're not supposed to be involved with politics, because because heaven is my home.
That's
I'm
the
just
lie.
sojourning through. I'm just sojourning through. And I'm like, the Lord said to occupy.
Have dominion.
So we are supposed to be we're supposed to be involved in everything. And the Great Commission is to go out and make disciples of all nations. That means we're supposed to be involved in every aspect. We are supposed to be So God is in government, Satan is in government. God is in the schools, Satan is in the schools. And people aren't realizing that. And the church needs to stop sitting around playing Christian while they are over here watching the world go to hell in a handbasket and say, well, I don't have anything to do with this. Understand that you're guilty by association because
Amen.
you sit down and you do nothing. When you sit down and
Absolutely.
do nothing, you are just as guilty as the people that are sitting, because Ezekiel 3:18 and 19 says, if I tell you to warn someone about the sin that they're doing and you don't tell them and you don't stop them and they die in their sins, that blood will be on your head. And we are not doing what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to be going out there and dealing with these situations. Listen, why isn't I joking all the time? AT last night was like, Crystal, you need to go ahead and run for governor against this this Muslim lady that's trying to run in Georgia. Like he was like, no. I was like, but I exactly what Renee said. I was like, I don't know nothing about no governor running for no governor. I know nothing about no.
I don't think she does either.
You ain't. But I think that's what you said spot on though. Wise, the church that they don't want to get involved, quote unquote, but they don't even want to put money behind it. Everyone else has a PAC, like you pointed out. Everybody else has a PAC. We are supposed to be involved instead of, again, they said it was AI. I don't believe it was AI. But you buying a pastor Bentley, why don't you put that money towards helping the government and getting your people in government? There was a man that was a pastor, a God-fearing pastor that was running for governor in California. People were ignoring him. Like, he really was a God-fearing man, pastor that said we need to change the tides of California. Where was all the money to go support this man? No one even paid attention to this man running for governor in California. And Lord knows California needs a revival. Let's just be real. So I need the church to wake up.
Thanks. I would agree with that. I want to keep it moving. I don't know if you guys had a chance to see this, but this story here out of Michigan. You have owners of a Michigan-based plumbing company. They were arrested for employing and harboring nearly 250 illegal immigrants across 4 states, generating $75 million in revenue. This is only the start, man.
Dang.
Millions of jobs that belong to Americans have been stolen from Americans due to the open border crisis that the previous administration put us in. And I want to share this this video with you guys, just to kind of give you guys an update on this. I don't know if you guys have heard about this, but yeah, this is crazy.
5:30 involving a Metro Detroit couple accused of employing nearly 250 undocumented workers. They were found at a plumbing company in Plymouth. Fox News' Lauren Edwards is live in Plymouth now with that story. Lauren.
Roop, I can tell you that we've been digging into this all day, and the couple lives over in Plymouth, and they are facing serious charges and serious time behind bars if they are convicted of these charges. But let's break this all down. Let's get into some of these details. Now, Fox 2 visited the home over in Plymouth, knocking on their door. No one opened the door, but spoke through the door, saying that they are not interested at this time with speaking with the news media. Now, according to the Department of Justice, U.S. Attorney's Office out of the Western District of New York, the couple was investigated between January 2022 and August 2025. Their names: 36-year-old Moises Orduna Rios and 30-year-old Raquel Orduna Rios. They operated Orduna Plumbing, a national company based here in Michigan. DOJ alleges that they made $74 million while employing 253 people, many of them who were undocumented workers, and allegedly the workers lived in overcrowded houses and hotel rooms. Then Tuesday, the couple was arrested and officially charged with conspiracy, transporting and harboring unauthorized aliens for commercial advantage or private financial gain, money laundering, and others. Fox 2 reached out to attorney Todd Perkins, who's tried cases in federal court. He's not in any way connected to this particular case, but he shared his thoughts about how he sees it all unfolding.
How do I see it coming down? You know, it's going to be based upon the witnesses that they have. They indicated in the complaint I saw, you know, it's a 27-page complaint, and I saw that they had person being alien number 11, 12. So it says to me that they have a multitude of different individuals. How many of these individuals will be consistently stating and supporting the allegations? And it indicated that in this business, they checked the employment records, and apparently only 5 were legally present or had work visas or were citizens. I don't know specifically. So, you know, that's the crux of the case, is their status and their ability to work.
Fox 2 will be keeping an eye on this case, and if you would like to get a good look at that complaint, just head to fox2detroit.com. I'm Lauren Edwards.
Okay. Jeez. So right now, 90% of undocumented workers who are working are getting paid cash, often under stolen Social Security numbers, and the companies hiring them pay zero payroll tax, zero workers' comp, zero unemployment insurance. Now, for those of you guys that may or may not know, if you own a business, if you work for a business, the number one expense for every company out there is their labor costs. That's the number one expense right there. So the fact that these people have hired a multitude of people, they're not paying any payroll taxes, they're not paying workers' comp, they're not paying unemployment, they're not paying Medicaid, they're not paying, probably for healthcare benefits, they're not paying for any of this type of stuff. All the expenses that you would have if you actually hired an American, a citizen that's eligible to work, these people aren't doing it. And they've been able to get away with this for a long time, enough that they generated $75 million in gross profit, which is crazy. That is insane. I mean, this is borderline. Sounds like borderline modern day slavery. And when you think about what's going on in our nation right now, the official unemployment rate in America is sitting around about 4.3, 4.4%, which is the highest that we've seen in years. We have able-bodied Americans on benefits, but they should be doing some of these jobs that a lot of the undocumented folks or illegal immigrants have been doing. You got millions of Americans who are out of work or either underpaid, right, and you have entire industries being ran on cash labor that never shows up in any report, man. I mean, this is ridiculous. It really is.
But that's the point, is the fact that, everybody wants to make the excuse, oh, well, Americans won't do those jobs. Yeah, they would. But the problem is when you're paying people cash under the table, it's a whole lot cheaper to pay them. And no, Americans aren't going to work for cheap. Just when believe me, I own a fence company. I've been in the construction business. I'm third generation pretty much in the construction area. There's entire companies that are illegals. Because if I get one, the running joke is if I can get one Goodwin that can speak English, he's got 15 friends that'll work for cash, and I can get jobs done on the down. I don't have to pay all the taxes, because let's face it, these states will dry up a small business. If you're trying to do everything by the book, a small business, unfortunately, that's what happens is there's so many taxes and stuff that kill that the middle income tax bracket, which is your small businesses. All these politicians like to talk about, the $250,000 to $1 million crew. That's who we're going to tax. Well, that's your small businesses, because that's always told. That's how much you make before taxes. But then once the taxes come in, and then the payroll taxes, like I own a company, I have to pay unemployment tax on myself, but I can't even take it out. It's against the law. I can't even take out unemployment, but you best believe I got to pay for it on myself.
Yeah.
For the average person, say you make $58,000 a year. If I gave you $58,000 a year, I'm paying about $75,000 a year for you. That's how much it costs me to hire you at $58,000 a year. But by the time you take taxes and all that stuff out. But if I'm paying you cash under the table, I'm paying you whatever your paycheck is.
Yeah, just the flat rate, whatever that number is.
I ain't paying the extra $20,000 a year.
Yep.
So I'm paying these guys less. I'm not hiring the American, because the American is going to do it the right way. I'm like, no, I'm giving you my Social Security number. I want to get Social Security and all this stuff taken out. My unemployment, my liability insurance, and all this stuff. Like all this stuff has to get taken out. And if you take away these illegals, Americans will take those jobs. But unfortunately, people are going to have to start paying higher costs. Things are going to go up. prices are going to go up. And unfortunately, as Americans, we are a glutton for cheap goods because we've been force-fed them through China for so long. People forget that the average Chinese worker makes about $4 a day versus the average person that won't work at Dunkin' Donuts for less than $18 an hour. I can't hire someone to create your clothes in America as cheap as China can because I can't pay my workers $4 a day. I can't. So things are going to have to go up. And people don't want to hear that because we're already maxed out because we've bought that $650,000 house. We bought them $75,000 cars. And we're living paycheck to paycheck. We're looking at our savings and we got less than $1,000 in there. And we're going, hey, if one of us gets sick, darling, we're effed. We're screwed. So we can't buy that extra stuff. We still have to go buy the $10 jeans. We still have to go buy the $20 shirts because gosh forbid it takes $30. It takes $30 to go buy a roll of toilet paper. Wow. So unfortunately, we have created this monster ourselves, and to where these businesses are looking at, well, I'm still trying to make money. So if I can hire these guys and you're not getting rid of them, I'm going to hire them. Yeah. And it's completely unethical. It's unethical. Like you said before, you hit the nail on the head. It's slave labor. There's more slaves in this world today than there's ever been, either through this type of work practice or the other atrocious types of slavery. But these basically are indentured servants. They're coming over here because, unfortunately, let's face it, in Mexico they're making $4 or $5 a day. $20 a week is a good paycheck down there. So it's when they're coming up here and people are saying, I'll give you $15, $16 an hour to do the job that an American won't do because it's costing you $25 an hour, they're jumping right on it because there's no way in the world they're going to make it in Mexico. And I hate to say it, as an American, I've been truly blessed to be born in this country. I've fought for this country. But it's one of them things where if I was born in Mexico, you best believe I would try my hardest to get to this country. Especially if I had a family and they were starving. Like I'm going to figure it out. And I'm not going. I would be the one if I couldn't. If it took me 15 years to get over here, I'm probably coming over illegally. You're just going to have to catch me. And then when you catch me, I'm going to try to find a way to get back. I'm just keeping it 100 because $4 a day, $15, $16 an hour in America. And all I got to do is walk across the ditch. Bro.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing. I don't think people here in our country really understands the cost of an employee. And Grasso, I'm glad you brought that up because people think that if we're paying someone $58,000, $60,000 a year, that's all it costs the company. And that's the furthest thing from the truth. They have this, what they call a burden cost. And there's a percentage on top of whatever you have to pay an individual hourly that you got to throw, there's a number on top of that. And that's a lot of reason why a lot of the Democrats want to raise the hourly rate, because if they can raise the hourly rate, that burden number goes up. People don't really think about this. And when you have folks up there, like up in New York City, that are saying, hey, we got to tax the rich more, we need to raise the corporate tax, and we also got to raise the minimum wage. Now, for those of you guys that don't know, up here where we live at, minimum wage here is $15 an hour. I don't know too many people that make $15 an hour. Most of them make a little more than that. But minimum people that do work at your favorite coffee shop, yeah, they're making $16, $17 an hour up here in our state, and they're talking about raising the minimum wage. I think they're talking about raising it to upwards of $20 an hour. At least that's the word on the street.
Oh, absolutely.
That is the word on the street.
The 2 Dunkin' Donuts down the road are hiring for $18 an hour starting out.
Yeah. Heating up pre-processed sandwiches and throwing a little coffee with some creamer in there. Yeah, and for almost $20 an hour.
When you walk into most of these fast food restaurants, it's all computers now. You can't even talk to anybody.
Yeah.
Because you can't afford to. I can't give you a sandwich for $4 and pay these guys $18 an hour. It's not feasible.
Yeah, it's not. It's not. Now I got to ask a question here, and whoever wants to answer this, but how are American workers supposed to compete with the invisible workforce that doesn't play by the rules? And Grasso, you hit the nail on the head. Honest businesses that are trying to do the right things, they get punished for doing the right things.
Believe me,
And I'm not saying they get punished by the government, but they get punished because they're just not able to make as much money as those that are that are willing to hire the undocumented folks, the illegal folks that will work for cash, that can save a company 25, 30% on their labor costs.
Yeah, I've been called dumb many a times by my counterparts. Like, why don't you hire these guys? I'm like, no, because I'm not getting caught up in those audits.
Because I mean, eventually, yeah, you will get caught. It does happen.
You get caught.
Yeah,
and they will take everything. Like I said, it's just not worth it to me. My guys are getting older, but they're all Americans. They've all been here since birth, and but so many of my counterparts have went down that road. They're like, man, it's so much cheaper. I'm like, yeah, but that short-term gain is going to bite you. It's going to bite you because they're going to audit you. Especially like now with ICE cracking down. I mean, let's think about Charlotte, the Charlotte school district where 30,000 kids didn't show up to school because ICE was raiding all their families. Like there's something wrong there.
It's ludicrous. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, but there's got to be a demand, because if there's no demand, they're not coming.
You're not coming.
So we have to start somewhere, to be honest with you, because it's not just about us. It's about future generations, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's about our kids and our grandkids. What are they going to have if we don't put our foot down? And yeah, it's going to cost us a little bit for now. You know, a lot of people were complaining about the tariffs and, you know, all that kind of stuff. It's bringing cost up, blah, 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 blah. But these are reciprocal tariffs, okay? And if you do the tariffs, then you bring, in the long term, you bring some of these jobs that were sold to China and Taiwan and Vietnam back to the United States. So you could create more industry here.
Well, that's where the tariffs work. But
Yes.
unfortunately, tariffs take a
Yes.
while to come. Like,
Yes.
people don't see it instantaneously. But yeah,
Right.
when you start tariffing these other countries to bring it up to our standard, but unfortunately, I hate to say it, the American people are the ones that are going to have to pay the additional cost. Like the
We were
companies
sold
aren't
out.
just going to absorb that cost. Your
Yeah.
prices are going to go up.
Yeah, well, we were sold out. If we weren't sold out by previous administrations, then we wouldn't be in this situation.
Oh,
But
absolutely. And this
yeah.
has been this happened Nixon, when Nixon took us off the gold standard and we just started printing money 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. This is inevitable. This is where we're at.
I think, and as a mother with children now going out in the workforce, it is not easy for people to get jobs nowadays. And I think, especially when you live in these sanctuary cities, it's definitely not easy for them to get jobs, because they have to compete with all of these, exactly what you were just talking about. And it's frustrating. And I agree, we have to do something, eh, because it's only getting worse. It's only becoming more and more difficult. Um, and it's not fair as people are graduating school, or people are finishing and they're going out, they're getting their trades, because a lot of people have realized, as our dear sister Celeste says, college is a scam, however she says it. You find yourself getting the trades and things of that nature, and now you get them certifications and you can't even get a job. That's just frustrating. It's frustrating across the board. And again, I think this is all part of the breakdown of how to destroy our society.
And that's what you're right. You hit the nail on the head. And that's what causes civil war.
Mm-hmm.
See, people don't understand is that, civil wars don't start when you take all the factory workers' jobs. It's in history, they've been known that they just die. It's the ones where they've been sold this lie that if I go to college, I'm smart and I work hard and I get this degree, I'm going to get a high paying job. And when those high paying jobs aren't there, that's when stuff starts actually getting bad, because those people are smart enough to organize. They're smart enough to rally against this kind of stuff. And that's what you're starting to see. You're starting to see all these college kids coming out of college now with $100,000 in debt, $200,000 in debt, and they're finding $30,000, $40,000 a year jobs, and they're angry.
But I
And
think
that's when stuff's going to start happening.
I got to pause for a quick second. We got a connection issue going on. But I just checked my internet. I think it's got to be a StreamYard thing. It's definitely not me. Internet.
It may not be a StreamYard thing. As I was telling people last night on my stream, wise, there was a solar flare that happened this week, and I don't know how the solar flares work. I'm not a scientist, but I can tell you every time it happens, something happens with internet's connections and all those things. It always messes up. So a lot
it
of
does interrupt it. It does interrupt the internet. Yeah.
I've seen online have had issues with their connections and things like that. So I think that's what it is.
I'm gonna restart. Not restart. I'm not gonna turn the stream off, but I'm gonna reset on my end and see if that helps. We'll see. Give me a second. Okay. Hopefully that will work. Just did a quick restart or refresh, more or less, on StreamYard. We'll see, if it works. If it continues to glitch like that, I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to be able to do about it at this point with the stream already going. All right, give me a second. I'll be right back.
Let's hear for the solar flares. Let's go. Let's hear for solar flares.
I'm mad, Jay, because I didn't. Apparently, you were able to see the Northern Lights here in Georgia, in Atlanta, after it, and I didn't know because I would have gone outside and watched it. And people took pictures and the whole 9 yards. I was like, "Wait, you saw it here in the city, and I missed that?" I'm so mad.
I didn't know.
Yeah, I think they had solar flares in the Northeast in Connecticut. They had solar flares about a month or so ago.
Mm-hmm.
And people were able to see the Northern Lights. Of course, I missed it. I got maybe just a tiny bit of a view of it. So
I've always wanted to see it. Every time I've seen it, I always wanted to see it, but I'm sad that I didn't get to see it this time because I'm like, I've been waiting to see this forever, and here and I didn't even get the chance to like actually see it. I was like, oh, back to the pictures again.
we got to start asking God for like more solar flares, and can you show us these things? He's such a good Papa.
He
He
is.
wants to do it. So yeah.
Mhm. He is definitely. Yeah. But I understand what Wise is going through because, like I said, during different people have had different streams this week, and
Mhm.
they all had like technical. I had technical difficulties. Other people that I've watched, they had technical difficulties. There was like the internet was acting up, the connection. And I was just like, and then I remembered, oh yeah, there was a solar flare. That's why.
A lot of activity, right?
Yeah.
Thank
All
you
right,
guys so much
I'm
for
back.
having me join you all.
Hopefully, apologize for the technical difficulties this morning. I don't really know what's going on, but hopefully that works. But I did check my my internet speed, and it's super fast right now. It's well over 600. So,
oh, you cooking?
So
Yeah, like
it's
got to
good.
be the StreamYard side.
So it's got to be the StreamYard aspect of things. But you guys let me know in the chat. Are we good now or no? We'll see. And while that's going on, I'm going to load these videos up real quick. Okay. Ed said it's better. Okay. I trust Ed. I don't know about the rest of y'all, but I trust Ed. Okay. Oh, we lost Jay Witt. Did he roll out?
Yeah, he said he had to leave. He'll catch up with you this weekend.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to get ready and go as well. I have an appointment at 1 o'clock.
Yeah.
But I can stay for another one.
What is that? Hey, it's not me. You know, and they over here clowning. Papa died. You got the jokes. You had the jokes all week. Although I didn't understand the jokes. You know, they did definitely go over my head. So you're probably not a paid comedian. You know, don't quit the J job. Okay.
That laugh.
Oh man.
I love that laugh.
All right. I want to play last couple clips. Hopefully we'll be able to get through this really quickly. Let's see here. Let's start here. Should we start here? Let's start here with Glenn Beck. All right. We'll go from here. Hit the like button for me, guys.
Last 24 months, Dallas-Fort Worth has 200 Islamic centers. Houston, another 100 plus. The Muslim population ranges from 313,000 to 420,000 when you factor in recent growth. I don't really care. I really don't care. As long as you want to melt into our society and you believe that the Constitution is supreme, but that will not be the supreme law of the land. Full-time Islamic schools, over 300 nationwide, many of them in Texas. Kids spend hours memorizing the Quran before math. Brighter Horizons Academy in Dallas, 1,700 students, millions in federal funds. Good Tree Academy, segregated classes, Quran first curriculum. And, of course, the crown jewel, which we helped expose, the Epic City Project, 402 acres in Collin and Hunt counties in Texas. Originally marked as only for Muslim buyers, it's a mega mosque at the center, Sharia law compliant, financing thousands of homes there. They changed the name to The Meadows after Governor Abbott launched a...
Hold up.
Bum, bum, bum.
We know of at least two that exist in the Dallas area. We're looking broader in Dallas County as well as Collin County, which is right next to Dallas. And that's why I sent the letter to officials both in Dallas and Collin counties to urge them to take action to root out any Sharia courts. And I am deploying the Texas Department of Public Safety to also root out any Sharia courts anywhere in the state of Texas. To be clear, the Texas Constitution does not allow Sharia courts or Sharia law. Texas statutes have banned Sharia law, and we are going to pursue this until we purge any attempt to impose Sharia law in Texas.
The question is macro Islam compatible with Western values? Macro. Of course it's not. There are three major reasons why. Islam does not believe in freedom of speech. Islam does not believe in freedom of religion, and Islam does not believe in separation of mosque and state. Those three things are antithetical to the West. In a Muslim-majority country, most Muslim-majority countries, you cannot criticize the Prophet Muhammad. In most Muslim-majority countries, you do not have the same robust freedom of religion protections. And finally, whereas we in the West are very careful to try to intermix religion and state, they are commanded to actually go into the state and try to change the state to be more Islamic around the core pillars of Islam. And the last thing I'll finally say is I cannot see a single Western country that has become more Islamic and has become a better place to live that is happier or freer.
By what metric? Just happiness, quality of life?
Everything from quality of life, from cultural cohesion, from whether people want to live there, prior to the native-born fertility rates.
Again, people watching this will say is your criticism of the religion itself or not Muslim people? Because there are British Muslims who have been born here.
You don't have to caveat it all the time. I know you guys have to because you're British and all that. A culture ceases to exist when we don't have unified language. When you cannot talk to your neighbor. I'm not discounting that there are good individual Muslims. The question that we need to reckon with the West is Mohammedanism compatible with the teachings of Blackstone? Is it compatible with the legacy of Wilberforce?
All right.
And the great thinkers that have come from this country? And I will say, no, there's a reason why when you go to these Islamic countries that you're not going to see the equal protection of rights, that you do not believe in universal human equality, that you do not believe the same things that we believe in the West. And I think it's suicidal to import millions of them.
Yeah, and you know what, just on a passing point.
All righty. I don't want to spend too much time on it, and I ask that y'all keep the language friendly. But Renee, I'll give you the first word on this.
Okay. A lot of us in the West don't understand the ideology of Islam. It is in their Quran to follow certain hadiths, shuras, and the premise of it is based on, removal of the Jews and the Christians. I have to be quite honest about it. There's no way to really sugarcoat it. When these people, when they go to Mecca, they do their Hajj in Saudi Arabia. When they're walking around this rock, they're told to recite certain things. And it's the river to the sea, and we know what the river to the sea means. That these people, that Allah demands submission. That's what Islam actually means. It means submission. And Malcolm X said something that was telling, and I think a lot of people didn't understand what he was saying or where it actually came from. He said, one of his quotes was, we have to do this, blah, 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 whatever it was, by any means necessary. That comes from the Quran. All right. So it's not a matter of assimilating. If you follow the Quran to the letter, you're not supposed to assimilate. You're supposed to dominate. And yes, their belief, their ideology is about presenting taqiyya. Taqiyya is an Islamic term that says that you're able to tell the infidel anything that you need to tell them as long as you get your mission accomplished. Okay? So we in the West don't understand that these people, wherever they go, and yes, there are some good Muslims. I have Muslims that are in my family, but they go to whatever country or whatever nation they go to. A lot of times they get on social services, right? They have a bunch of children and they're able to expand. They're able to expand the ideology. They start taking over communities. They start bringing their courts, their ideologies into the school system. They go into local governments. They start there and they start taking over. If you look at the UK, you have most of Britain's mayors are Muslim. And now you have this takeover that's starting in Texas, in Michigan, now in New York City. And if we're not careful, we, because we don't understand their ideology and we think it's just a religion. No, for them, it is a way of life, and it's not meant to assimilate. It's meant to take over. So we need to be conscientious of this. We need to spread the word. We need to take our place as kingdom citizens, Christian citizens, and we need to pray. We need to get involved with government, and we need to be diligent about our place of dominion. God told us to have dominion, to occupy. So this is something that we need to be cognizant about. We need to start to understand it, and we need to take the kingdom by force. It says the violent take the kingdom by force, not physical violence, but spiritual violence, being diligent in every sphere of influence.
Well, I would agree with that. When you look at what's going on across America, especially in Texas, we're seeing rapid growth, of Islamic institutions. I think Glenn Beck mentioned it, 300 full-time Islamic schools, 300. Hundreds of new centers built out in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, out there in Houston as well. Muslim majority neighborhoods. This is a thing. Like, this is happening, and these people understand how to organize. And I think we talked about this, Crystal, probably maybe 2 or 3 months ago, and we were just talking about, the organization and how disciplined these people are. They're extremely disciplined, extremely disciplined.
A
And
100-year
honestly,
plan.
and honestly, I mean, we could learn, from their discipline. We could learn from it. I think right now, when you look at Christianity in America, when you look at the body of Christ in America, Andrew Womack said it, and he says it all the time. The average Christian, there wouldn't be enough evidence to actually convict most people out here who claim the faith, who claim to be members of the body of Christ. It's very fashionable to say, hey, maybe I'm spiritual, or I do believe in God, or whatever the case may be. It's very fashionable, but people aren't necessarily, following the instructions.
Right.
And it's making our nation easily taken over because we have so many people that don't actually stand for anything. And we have so many people who have this this soft idea of who Jesus is or was, what the actual way is, and what it means to be a member of the body of Christ. We just have entirely too many people that they have a soft stance on it, and because of that, we're as Nanny said, hey, the church is asleep. Yeah, sleep at the will. And I think honestly that has been the case in our country for a very long time. And people have to understand that no different than the Communist Party and what we've seen with the DSA, and the socialists out here, no different. They've been playing the long game. So have these people.
Yes.
And they have strategically placed themselves not just in places around the country, but also in political positions. They understood that we can't beat these people head up. We cannot beat them head up. So they decided, hey, we'll learn your laws, we'll learn your rules, we'll learn your ways, and we'll come get you from the inside out. And that's what we're seeing happening right now. We're at war. The problem is the average American doesn't know that we're at war.
That's right.
They don't know who their enemy is.
Well, it's through birth rates too.
Yeah. Well,
The problem is, you figure the average Muslim family household the birth rates are about 3.1. Non-Muslims are about 1.7.
Yeah,
in
1.7, and decreasing.
But here's the problem: it takes 2.1% to replenish what we're losing. So the Western Christian is actually we're losing, and here's the problem with birth rates: it kind of goes, and then it plummets, because when there's not enough 18-year-olds to come back and start doing it and start replenishing that, the averages drop dramatically and fast. Muslims know.
Well, I mean, isn't
That's
that
why
not
the
what happens?
Number one birth rate name in England is Muhammad. That's the number one name.
But is that not what happens when you tell young people to not get married early? When you've sold young women a bad bill of goods to wait until you're 35 before you decide that and get your career and get some money and all this other kind of stuff, all this stuff that doesn't actually matter.
No,
as a young parent, I was a young parent.
Responsibility. They're not responsible for any of their bad and poor actions. Everybody just takes it for them. So what happens is, listen, it's the original sin. The devil knew. That's why he went to the woman.
Satan
He can trick her. He can trick her in wanting to be more like God. The men will follow. It's no different than it is in America right now. It is an absolute direct demonic attack against our women in this country.
Absolutely.
100%.
Hey,
men,
Grasso,
unfortunately, are too passive.
Grasso, what do you say when you see the president, and we've talked about this, on the stream today, but some of the things that they're doing to incentivize people to get back together, to get married, so forth and so on. They're doing some things. But the president also implemented, the what they call it, the Trump accounts, where, hey, we're going to put $1,000 in each kid, that is born, trying to incentivize people to have children. And then you get mainstream media get out there and say, well, what type of people is he trying to incentivize to have children?
Of course.
And they tried to make it seem like it was racist for him to say, hey, we're going to create these Trump accounts. We're going to throw $1,000 for each person or each family that has a child. We're going to throw $1,000 in there, and we'll give you the ability to match it tax free and you can match these accounts for your children, trying to incentivize people to have children. We can't sustain ourselves at 1.7 and at 1.7 birth rate that we're at right
It
now.
takes 2.1 to replenish.
Exactly.
And we're right around
we need to
1.6, 1.7.
be, but then it goes right back to the church.
The Muslims are at 3.1.
Yeah, they're crushing us. They're crushing
they're
everybody.
having babies. So one
Yeah.
generation in 20 years, regardless if we could do anything we want, but in 20 years, they're going to outnumber us.
Yeah. At the rate that we're going right now, you're absolutely right. 30 to 40 years
and
from
then they
now,
just take over.
Yeah, our nation could be completely
We're after fire.
different.
You're saying 30. I love how my pastor, Philip Anthony Mitchell, says 10, 15 years from now at the rate that Americans are going.
Yeah, a generation.
So
It takes a generation.
Let me go this. Here we go. You know, I took notes. You know how I feel about this, why? So you know I already took notes. Okay. So thank you for Governor Abbott for doing what he's doing. But in Plano, they were busy building out their epic city as best as they could. They already set things up in place. The thing is, a lot of Americans are, as I always say, they have not gone outside and touched the grass. They know nothing about anything outside of America, outside of their purview, and so they see something and they jump on the bandwagon. On the liberal side, that white guilt is a problem. White guilt is a major problem because they just go and pick up everything because they feel guilty about something. So the white liberal women are running again that toxic feminist movement. They go running and they're out in the streets holding up flags, yelling, "We stand with Hamas," and this and that, and they have no idea. You and your little short shorts over there throwing that flag, you would be in problems with those people over there. This is not a joke. Somehow they think this is a joke. Understand exactly what my dear sister Renee said. Islam wants dominion. They don't want to coexist. And if you pay attention to what they say it all the time. They're not here to coexist with any of us. I don't know why people seem to think that. They don't want
what
to
they tell you.
They want to have dominion. You don't believe it? Go look at the UK. Go look at Ireland, Dublin. Go look at everywhere in Europe minus Poland, because Poland said we're not playing that game.
We're not doing that, right?
And kicked them out. Said you're not coming
out of here. We putting you out. You're not coming in here. And when they try to cross, they had that whole water station thing to blow them out. And they're like, if you cross any further, you're gonna get bullets next. Play with us. So Poland wasn't playing with them. Now you even see the new prime minister of Japan. She was like, Japan is for the Japanese at this point because they came into Japan and they're disrupting Japan. So understand, they are not here to play nice. Somehow the other people seem to think that they are here to play nice. They're not here to play nice. They're exactly what Renee said, exactly what I said. They're here to play tequila. They're playing in your face. That's what they're doing. They say what they want to say because Mom Donnie out there in the pride parade, they don't do that.
Right. They don't.
But he's out there trying to get y'all all wrapped up. And as my dear sister in Christ, Speak Your Voice First said, Charlie Kirk was very prophetic when he said, woke ideology and Islam and the alphabet community are joining up together to destroy Western civilization, Christendom here in America, because that is their goal. So when you have people like Jasmine Crockett, AOC, Ilhan Omar, Rashida Tlaib all joining together, they're joining together to destroy America. The problem is there's so much distraction in the body of Christ. We are supposed to be warring in the spirit.
Absolutely.
We are supposed to be warring against this spirit of Islam, the spirit of woke ideology, the spirit of confusion, division, but there's so much distraction. There's so much distraction. As I said to people last night, since the increase of anti-Semitic views, there has been a uptick in pro-Islam support. And people aren't paying attention to that. And the thing is, the anti-Semitic view starts, but then they go from anti-Semitic to anti-Christian. You just watch it just from watching Candace Owens videos and Tucker Carlson and Nick Fuentes. They're out here. They started anti-Semitic, but they have shifted to anti-Christian.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Using their platforms to talk against. Yeah, they've been attacking Christians. They're talking about Christian. We should be watching out for these evangelicals. Like, So they shifted. And again, people aren't paying attention because they're just, oh well, they're just trying to share the voice to anti-Israel. People are only hearing the anti-Semitic, but no, the anti-Christian is coming, and that's how it goes. But people aren't paying attention to these things.
You
We
cannot
are supposed to be warring in the spirit. As Wise and I have had
Absolutely.
a discussion, I appreciate the no compromise in these people, because that's what Christians are missing. You can't get a Muslim to compromise. You can't get a Hindu to compromise. You can't get a Satanist to compromise. You can't get an atheist to compromise. But you will definitely see Christians compromising their faith. Why? When you serve the one true living God, why are you compromising your faith? You should be louder and bolder than everybody else because you serve the one true living God. But no, not at all.
Christians
Y'all want to
did.
compromise. Y'all want to make it comfortable for everybody else. Understand, y'all have heard me say this on this channel. I'll say it again. Jesus was kind, not nice. He's not out here tolerating foolishness. He's kind. He says, go and sin no more. He calls out your sin until you go and sin no more. People need to stop with the foolishness. They attack and they try to weaponize words. So they say things like Christian nationalists
Right.
and all of that. But again, people don't have a problem with Islam nationalism because that's literally what's about to happen right now. Islam nationalism is a real thing. People are trying to push that whole Islam nationalism, but no one's paying attention to those things. Everyone is okay with the foolishness, and they're trying to make a space, and they're trying to, welcome everybody. I watched the thing in Dearborn, Michigan, where there were Christians out here, and another Christian had up his American flag, and I guess he's trying to run for governor, and he goes, these Christians that come in here, we're just trying to build a bridge with Islam. This is what this white Christian man that was running for governor and he said he's an American patriot, so he says he stands with Trump, but he turns around and says we're just trying to build a bridge with Islam because we could all coexist together here in Dearborn, Michigan. Are the Muslims going to stop doing the 5 times call to prayer? They're not going to stop for you. So why in the world are you trying to back down? Jesus did not tell us to back down. We are supposed to go out and make disciples of all nations. These people are trying to make everyone Muslim. We are supposed to be making disciples of all nations. I need Christians to get up, stop being lazy, stop being distracted, and stop being weak. We are not weak. Get up and do your job. Speak your voice and stand for Christ. That's what we're supposed to be doing.
But you know what it is, Crystal. I'm sorry. A lot of people have put this view on Christians. Christians are supposed to be nice. They're supposed to be laid back. They're supposed to be tolerant. If you're not tolerant, you're hateful. And they say all of these things. That's the problem. They look at the nice Jesus, right? The lamb that slain before the foundation of the world. But Jesus is also the Lion of the tribe of Judah.
Yes.
Who, when people came into his house, when they came into the church and they started selling things and using it as a merchandise place, what did Jesus do? He created a belt. He made a whip and tore their butts up in the church. Okay, you're not going to make my Father's house a den of thieves. So we have to stop allowing, the church has to stop allowing people on the outside that really don't understand our faith to define us and to say what we're supposed to be and how we're supposed to act. No, we are the body of Christ. We are children of the King of Kings. Okay, he is the head. We are the body. The body is supposed to move and stand our ground. And you said another thing that was really important. We're not fighting against flesh and blood. We're fighting against territorial spirits, principalities, and spiritual wickedness in high places. So we need to understand that our fight is not physical, it's spiritual. So the first thing that we need to do is get down on our knees and repent. We need to repent. We need to find out the strategy from our King of Kings. We need to put on that spiritual warfare, the weapons of our warfare, right? And we need to be bonded, as kingdom citizens. The breastplate of righteousness, feet shod with the preparation of gospel, the sword of the spirit, the helmet of salvation, This is all body armor. These are all spiritual weapons. So we're supposed to be warring, but in the spirit, we're warriors. So understand
We're
what's
supposed
going
to.
on, taking that place.
You are right, Renee. But the problem is today in America, the church is too soft. It's
They've been
weak.
castrated. Yeah.
It's most of the people, are washed. They did a study. I think AT brought this up about 2 weeks or so ago. Majority of the churches don't even believe, in the word. A large majority of these people, it's about the money. It's not about the fellowship. It's not about being in the community. Most of these churches, they expect for you to show up at church, pay your tithes, give some offerings, and that's it. There's no outside discipleship. There's not a lot of that going on. There's not a lot of that going on. And, it's unfortunate because we're seeing other people do the things that we should be doing. We're watching other people use the system the way the system was designed to be used. But too many of us, we have our heads in the sand thinking, one, either I can't do anything, or two, it doesn't matter much. It doesn't matter to me. And I think, Marcelo, you had mentioned this earlier. As long as it's not at your doorstep, it's not of a concern to you. But the problem is that when it's 2 or 3 states away, hey, in a very short amount of time, it will be at your doorstep if you choose to sit idle by and do nothing. Marcelo, I'll give you the last word on this, and I want to get up out of here. I know you got to go.
No, like you said, the Muslims have a plan. They are executing well, and they'll continue to execute it until a force stops them to stop it. Stops executing the plan. Unfortunately, I hate to say it that way. The Crusades happened for a reason, because in for 100 years before 1096, they were systematically killing Christians, and they found a new way. They don't have to kill you now. They just come into your area, exploit your rules, and outpopulate you.
Yep.
And that is their new warfare strategy.
Yeah, absolutely.
They don't have to use the sword anymore.
No, they
because
don't.
once that comes, it's already too late. They already know they have complete control. That's when the sword comes.
Yes.
People don't realize is that the sword's still there. And once they get complete dominion over an area, the sword will come down, Sharia law will be implemented. And then all these women that think that their lives are hard now,
yeah,
understand feminists out there that are listening to this, they look at you as second-class beings. You are not equal to men at all. You don't hold jobs. You have no say in a marriage. You have no say in anything. You're going to do as you're told, or you're going to be killed. You're going to be shunned, and this is what happens. God forbid, go to Afghanistan right now and look at the debauchery. For 20 years, we told those little girls that they had a life and they were equal, and then we left them. We left them on the doorstep, and when the Muslims come back in overnight, everything.
Yep.
Everything.
And it didn't take long either.
Overnight.
Yep.
This is what happens. This is the agenda. This happens in nation after nation after nation. And you got to stop it. Unfortunately, you got to be bad. Our country is so willing to bite our nose off, spite our face, because, the Constitution says everybody. Our Constitution in America was built on Christian laws. Its foundation was based on Christ. And when you start taking Christ out of the Constitution, it no longer works. And they will exploit it. And they will, unfortunately, I hate this because this is not I hate to have to make the caveat. People, not every Muslim is this way. It's not that way. There's a lot of them that are trying to come here for a better life. The majority, but again, like I told earlier, it only takes a very small amount of people that are radically determined to change something, and it will change for the masses. Those are the ones you have to stop. You have to weed them out. I hate to say it, but I don't want to come off like, oh, we have to get rid of Muslims, because that's not what I'm saying. But what I am saying is that when there are radicals, they must be stopped. They have to assimilate to our Christian-based constitution, or they're going to have to go back to their own country. That's
Simple
the
as
only.
that. Yeah, I would agree with that. I think that's the only solution. But at this point, I think we've opened up a can of worms, and we have a large faction.
Unfortunately, bloodshed's the answer at this. I don't want to say this because I hate war. Believe me, I've been there. I've seen it, and you don't want it. You don't want it at your doorstep. But kind of like what happened in 1096, unfortunately, that is the only language they speak.
Couple super chats I want to read before we get up out of here. Thank you, LJ, for the $1 super sticker. Thank you very much. Shout out to Hunter coming through with the $5 super chat. Says, am I able to do that on the side while I work full time? I don't.
He's talking about that was during when we were talking about running for office.
Running for office?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can. You can, but I don't know why you would run for office on the side. Shout out to Steve H with the $2. Says, right now, no PACs to support. Let's do it. Yeah, we need those PACs. I think those are important. Shout out to William Mason coming through with the $10 super chat. Says, my father is a horse dentist, and I was his assistant and did the invoices to get paid. I once tried to get a job on a farm we worked on and never could due to illegals accepting half or less. Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely, that situation is definitely affecting the employment rates and, financial of American citizens for sure. Shout out to Papa Dodd coming through with the $10 super chat. Says, Wise, I didn't bail out on you yesterday. We had a bad issue. I'm looking forward to putting your subscriptions over 1 million just by showing up. I try to always do what I say I am going to do. Thank you, Papa Dodd. I appreciate you, bro. I was just picking on you, when I was talking about your jokes, even though I still didn't get it, but I was just picking on you. Shout out to my brother Jeff coming through with the $11 super chat. Says, in my best Cobra voice, Islam is a disease and Jesus is the cure. Thank you, Jeff. Jeff, once again, with the $11 super chat, says, Obama did just that, said he was now a Christian to further ingrain himself into America. He's as Christian as Muhammad was. Interesting. Shout out to Hunter coming through with the $20 super chat. Says, this is why we must put an end to the Islamic invasion into the West. Don't let them in. Flag their countries and religion as a threat to the nation overall. First Amendment, we won't have that anymore with them in power. This goes back, 20, 30 years at this point. And when you think about the ban that the president put in place about 10 years ago or so, maybe a little less, and mainstream media got out there and they called him everything but a child of God from doing it. And now, we've seen the progress that they've made over the 4 years. I don't think people really understand I don't think they really understand how much damage the previous administration did to our nation in a short amount of time, 4 years. And pretty much the job would have been complete had Kamala Harris won.
Yes.
She would have just went ahead and finished up the job, and then we'd be ripe for the taking come 2030. So, it's crazy. It's crazy. But I appreciate you guys pulling up today. Thank you, Renee. We didn't get to formally introduce you because you were running a little behind, but it's all good. Appreciate you pulling up today.
Thank you for inviting
No
me.
worries. No worries. Y'all go check out Renee over at Kingdom Politico. Appreciate you, Grasso. Appreciate you pulling up, brother. It's been a little bit since we've had you on the channel, but I do appreciate you pulling up. Short notice. And Crystal turning into one of the OGs, one of the regulars on the channel. So definitely appreciate you pulling up as well. Shout out to the Blues. Thank you guys for helping to keep things peaceful in the chat. Yesterday, man, we had a troll brigade come through like nobody's business. Like 50 people came through this joint. It was crazy. But the Blues, man, they handle business. Shout out to, is it T.M. Mayota? Hopefully I pronounced that properly. Thank you for coming through with the $1 super sticker. Thank you guys very much. So shout out to the Blues. Shout out to all my ARP family members, everybody that support the channel financially this morning. Thank you guys. I apologize for the technical difficulties. It was a little glitchy here, but not me. I definitely believe that it's probably a StreamYard thing or something along those lines. But thank you guys as well for just bearing with us. And enjoy the weekend, man. Lord willing, we'll be back at this thing Monday, 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Lord willing. Hopefully we'll be able to get some of these folks, back on the show in the near future. Just to let you guys know, live stream will happen Monday, Tuesday, and then we're going to take the rest of the week off for the holidays. So enjoy that. And obviously we'll discuss it next week, but hopefully you guys enjoy the weekend and are getting prepared for the holidays. I know Crystal is a week out, preparing, getting ready.
Yes.
To put her foot in those collard greens that she put in the tub. I'm just messing with you.
Come on, Kamala.
Hey, I can't believe she said that. She's like, I wash my greens in the tub. It's like, whoa.
Yeah.
Right then and there, I'm never eating anything at your house. Never. Never.
Well, we know that you ain't never cooked any collard greens. Talk about put them in the tub, right?
Seriously.
Right.
Seriously. Like, come on now. Come on now. Or Rolando, with apple slices and the daggone potato salad. Like, what the heck, man?
Exactly. See, thank you, Marcelo. Thank you.
What?
Thank you, Marcelo. That man said apples in the potato salad.
Apples in the potato salad.
Sacrilegious.
Seriously. Yes, it is. It's just
I want fruit, I'll eat fruit.
Yeah, seriously.
My potato
Seriously.
salad.
Don't mess up the potato salad, man. Those are two things that people want to know. When you come through, who made the greens? I need to know.
Yeah.
Because I want to know who made the greens, because I got to make a decision on if I'm going to eat these things and who made the potato salad. Those
There
two
may be a little
things.
bacon fat in there too.
Yeah. And then the mac and cheese. I'm hit or miss on people mac and cheese. Wifey makes the best mac and cheese I've probably ever had in my life.
Wow.
I'm hit or miss on the mac and cheese.
That's because she makes it for you. That's why.
Exactly. She does it because it's all love. When she makes it, there's love all up in it. That's why.
Yeah, yes.
Some extra love in there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. When I got married, I was skinny. Before I got married, I was skinny. When I got married, wifey put like 40 pounds on me. That's the truth. Cooking, eating. I've been eating good. You heard me?
I already told you my Thanksgiving, and people on my TikTok are like, Crystal, can I get some of the roti? Because I told you it was going to be curry.
Oh, you're doing a Caribbean style.
Yep,
Okay.
it's straight Caribbean this Thanksgiving. So I'm excited.
Nothing wrong with that.
Okay.
Nothing wrong with that. I like that. I'm a big fan of Caribbean food. Shout out to Jen Corvella coming through with the $2 super sticker. Thank you very much. Appreciate you guys. Oh yeah. I'm a big fan. Actually, wifey made Rasta pasta the other day, which is like jerk chicken with the pasta.
Yeah.
And, it's got the little creamy sauce and stuff like that. Wifey throws it down, man. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
I'm telling you, I gained 40, 50 pounds.
Look,
you know what I'm
it's
saying?
12
When I got married,
I'm
man.
hungry and I gotta go back to work.
So yeah, we're gonna get up out of here, man. I appreciate you guys pulling up today, man. As always, keep God first, stay prayed up. We'll catch up with you guys next time. You guys take care, man. Enjoy the weekend. Peace.
Bye.
Vibes so raw, can't hide the truth. Words so sharp.